What everyday skill becomes suspicious if you're too good at it? Remembering things about people. I've lied about not knowing things to not seem like a creep. Remembering someone else's schedule. Walking with minimal sound. There was a restaurant in a Hyatt hotel that had a casino. The waiter from that restaurant remembered our preference when we showed up with a friend 6 months later. Counting bills quickly. Learned when in Uzbekistan, a place where the highest denomination was 1,000 but a meal at a restaurant cost 20–30K. Remembering oddly specific details about someone's past. Being able to quickly convert between ounce and gram. I have a friend who could memorize numbers, especially plates of vehicles. He'd then be able to recall it after months in totally random conversations. Edit. Never thought this would blow up like this. Many people asked how we'd know he wasn't bluffing. Here is the thing: I know this guy from college. You can imagine how all of us would have gone to lengths to verify such things. Also, it works out to be useful in many situations, and he'd buy somewhat of a personal Google for a few of us. Like, hey, I can't seem to remember this guy's number. Do you remember? Noticing cameras. Strep throat tests. Used to get strep a lot as a kid, so by the time I was tested for it as a 20-year-old I had the process down. They stick in the big popsicle stick to hold down your tongue, and then they swab the back of your throat while you try not to gag. Well, I happened to be tested by a relatively new, young, attractive doctor this particular time, and when he complimented me on doing well on the test and not gagging, my response was, "Thanks, I've had practice." If not suspicious, it was at the very least mortifying after realizing the implication of what I said. I've forgotten my apartment key to the point that I can pick my own lock. People find that suspicious. Being able to recognize pills. No, I'm not a drug dealer. I just work in a pharmacy and some of them are very recognizable. Remembering things about them they forgot. I told my friend I was getting a job at a store we know. She told me, "I think I've been there before." Then I told she has, and I repeated the conversation we had, word for word. I got some weird looks from her. Lol. Staying calm. Getting kids to trust me within seconds of meeting me. Ped nurse. Ms. Excel. I found that by taking over reporting from others because it took them so much time. I'd automate it to pull from the database where the previous owner was spending 2 hours a day, copy, paste hundreds of cells. A couple hours work once and I hit a button. Done. I'd used to release right away, even with a script to open, refresh, save, and email it. This caused people to not trust the numbers, so now I still pull in the data but hold off on releasing it for a bit, even a bit late on occasion. This is literally how the series Psych starts. The main character, Sean Spencer, is too good at being observant, and because he kept sending tips to the local police, they called him in for questioning because they thought he might be involved in all those crimes, so he has to pretend to be a psychic. Edit. Now 2 of my most upvoted comments are psych related, which is great because it's my favorite show, but don't waste money on me, guys. I have a friend who just knows random stuff. Like he is damn near lawyer level of proficient with things like legal procedure. Technical knowledge to include how to bypass code locks, is really smart on finance and how to take advantage of situations. All sorts of stuff. And #X200B. He's not a spy or criminal, he just loves to Google this stuff and will read for hours on end about it, but to those who don't know him, he's suspect. Cleaning liquid spills. If Junior knocks over their glass or the cat gets too close and personal with the fish tank, most people just tend to throw a bathroom towel over it or get out the wet vac. Not super effective and tends to allow time for staining. Some salt, aerosolized carpet foam, and some paper towels will clean up anything like it was never there and in record speed, and all for the low price of making people uncomfortable as they imagine you as a mob cleaner. For extra points, using this method to clean blood out of carpets or off cheap porous tile equals people's faces are funny as fuck. Edit. Thanks for the awards. Consider my disposals at your disposal, but don't get used to it, I ain't runnin' no charity here. Walking quietly. Was there ever a time you're thankful the pandemic happened? What was the reason? When I woke up 5 minutes before my university classes, happened multiple times. Edit. Thanks for the awards and upvotes. Even though I much prefer in person, it's always nice to look at the silver lining in things. Did you not see the freeways under lockdown? I will never not miss how light that traffic was. It gave me time away from school to be admitted into the hospital for more than a month, and it saved my life. Yes. It made me slow down and re-evaluate what I was doing with my life. I cut out people who were dragging me down, and reconnected with old friends through group Zoom calls. Change jobs. Started taking care of my body and lost 30 pounds. Found a new hobby. I do wish I made these changes years ago, instead of waiting for a global health crisis to kick my butt into gear. Edit. Thank you to everyone who took the time to read my comment, and to those who responded. Reading all your responses truly made my day. It's reinforced that we're all in this together, even if we're physically apart, doing the best we can. Okay, without going into too much, the week lockdown happened, my ex moved out. It was a bad relationship, but I was in denial. So now I was locked inside, with a lot of big feelings and nowhere to go. It forced me to confront myself, a lot of my own mental issues and a lot of my own trauma. I hated it, resisted it and fought it. Eventually though I learned to work on myself slowly, and I don't think that would have happened without lockdown. It gave me some time to think a lot about myself and where I was going, and I realized I was taking the wrong subject, trying to set myself up for a career I didn't want. It gave me a whole year to spend every day with my senior pup before he crossed the Rainbow Bridge. More time with my kids and the wife. Also allowed me to spend more time with my brother during his last months before he died of cancer. Time I otherwise would have spent working. My daughter was born last year. Being able to work from home for a year has given me an opportunity to spend so much time with her that I don't think most fathers have. First child born right at the beginning of it. Being off from work with benefits for months longer than expected gave me so much more time with my child and wife than I ever would have had. Time spent like that is impossible to replicate later. Working from home was given the opportunity to keep my job, work from home, and move out of state. The only thing keeping me in my home state was my job, great pay, insane benefits, etc. So when they told me I could get out of Dodge, and keep my spot with the company, I didn't even need to consider. I am thankful for the quarantine, not the pandemic. I used to think I was introverted until I was left alone with my thoughts for far too long and realized how much I need social interaction in my life. It made me realize how bad my relationship was. I hate comparing situations. Everyone struggles differently, but he didn't talk to me for the first 6 weeks of the lockdown because his stress was worse than mine. He was at his mum's with his brother, having her cook and clean and basically do everything for him while he played games all day. Meanwhile I had just moved in my own flat, had no bed and very little furniture, no internet, and I was struggling to get hold of groceries, but despite all that he had it worse. I realized that I needed to look after myself. Fucking absolutely. I am an English teacher and I have maybe 2-4 classes throughout the day. Before, I would have to travel to and from each class and maybe go home in between if there was time. I live in Bogotá and it's a big city with no metro and the traffic sucks donkey balls. Now, all my classes are online. I've saved between 3 and 6 hours of travel time each day. Yes. I'm a major introvert and for a year and a half I didn't have to make up an excuse as to why I wasn't attending something I was invited to. Yes. 1. I got to know my daughter better. We are closer than ever. 2. I got to know my spouse better. He moved out. I had more of an opportunity to play video games. I was able to give birth without my family harassing me in the room. They harassed me anyways, but at least I could enjoy my baby in peace. Fuck yes. I had a taste of remote working and I'm not going back to the office. Frankly, I do 3x as much while I actually work 3x less. I can concentrate on NY work. I can spend hours coding without anyone saying, "Let's go grab some coffee," or "Let's go smoke," or dozen other excuses we used to use to not work. And best thingness, I no longer have to affect morning bullshit meeting where, site manager, just talks. She really likes the sound of her own voice.